because of his spiritual, both spiritual and human.
Hello.
And that is quite amazing. Uh, Pramod had summed up his uh, lecture in very aptly. I don't have anything to uh, any question to ask, but I have some observation. Can you take some question from me, sir, Professor Nayak? I see you spoke of ethics. When you come to Rama and Krishna, we are concerned with ethical issues also. They are inevitable, and you have mentioned that. But then ethics is a uh, matter that is related to humans and the society. Now I have two. I get worried about two things. One is about Rama's. Well, you have been repeatedly saying that Rama was convinced, Rama knew very well that Sita was pure, nispapa, I am quoting you. And at the same time, he was taking note of the Lokapavada. Now, what kind of ideal Maryada Purushottama is, I understand by that, someone who is Maryada Purushottama, that means he is the ideal of morality. But then, how can you explain this this contradiction in this? Knowing that Sita was pure and nispapa, and yet because of Lokapavada, he had to be very harsh on him. Now, I'm confined to Rama as a human being. You have been also saying that a human being, besides being a superhuman being, where ethics is concerned with humans. We don't talk of animals being moral or immoral. We don't talk of events being moral or immoral. We talk of conducts and actions and character of human beings being moral and immoral. Considering that point of view, why is there this contradiction? Then the second question is, which has been worrying me for quite some time, that the way he killed Bali, maybe Bali did something for which he deserved to be killed or punished. I'm not worried about that. But why did he kill Bali in a ଛଳ ଯୁଦ୍ଧରେ କାହିଁ ତାଙ୍କୁ ମାରିଲେ? How can you explain these things, sir? Can you throw some light on these contradictions? ଯଦି ସାର୍ଙ୍କର ଅସୁବିଧା ହେଉଛି ତ ବସନ୍ତ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଆଉ ପ୍ରେସର ଦିଅ ନାହିଁ, କାରଣ ବହୁତ ସମୟ କହିଲେଣି।
ସେ କାହିଁକି ଜାଣିଥିଲେ ସେଟା ଯଦି ନିଷ୍ପାପ କିନ୍ତୁ ତାକୁ କାହିଁକି ସେ ପୁଣି ତ୍ୟାଗ କଲେ? ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରଶ୍ନ। ସେ ପ୍ରଶ୍ନ ବାଳିକି କାହିଁକି ସେ ମାରିଲେ? ବାଳିକି କାହିଁକି ସେ ମାରିଲେ?
This contradiction in his lecture.
Now,
So that is a very important question. We also
Hmm.
create how can I put it, a mental cramp. The word is the word is mental cramp. You must have come across this word in our philosophical parlance.
Mm-hmm.
Mental cramp. These 2 points created mental cramp, not only in you, in me also. I agree. Not only in you, but in me also. Because we are ordinary human beings. Certainly, first thing, the death of body cannot be explained from an all exhaustive, all round view. It is simply a particular approach to the problem. Without Bali himself was a force to reckon with.
Yes.
With
Yes.
Bali being present, the Rama Rajya could not be established. That's the point. Bali being present, because Bali is more powerful than Ravana. Whose power, when power goes to our head, that creates a problem which cannot be explained or cannot be satisfactorily explained away. So Brahma could not have reconciled with Bali at any cost. In case of Sugriva, it is possible. That is why it can be taken as a merely in a sort of practical necessity, just a practical necessity.
Huh. As I,
Otherwise, it cannot be explained in practical necessity because Sugriva, you see, those people who follow some principles only for their own benefit, those principles themselves are not important for them. The principles can be thrown away immediately after you gain your end. Bali was such a person. Bali could not be relied upon.
हाँ
Whereas
ठीक
my
ଅଛି
point,
ସାର୍
Bali could not be relied upon.
ହଁ
Whereas
ସାର୍ ଠିକ
that may
ଅଛି
be one of the reasons. Whereas Sugriva could be relied upon in case of Ramraj. How would you say?
ସୀତାଙ୍କୁ କାହିଁକି ସେ ତ୍ୟାଗ କଲେ?
Sita Tyago cannot be explained so easily. This only shows that if you are going to play the role of a public hero, you have to sacrifice your personal comfort. So that is a sort of, it is not properly explained. It is a sort of self-sacrifice. I would call it sort of self-sacrifice for the sake of some.
okay thank you
Tyago
sir
itself, Sita Tyago cannot be explained in that way because by you cannot sacrifice. Every human being is important.
E-
Every human being is important.
even a ninduka
Pardon?
even a ninduka is
If,
also
if,
important Ninduka ko important. Every human being.
Ninduka is important, but we are not to take resort to Ninduka's approach. Ninduka may be important
No,
in his own, but
but he'll
Ninduka, it is just so that people may not go astray. That's why. I think it is the royal family in those days who had to, who had to sacrifice for the sake of
thank you, sir.
royal
Thank you,
family sacrifice. The royal family sacrifice.
thank you, sir.
I think it is a sort of sacrifice, self-sacrifice. You cannot, as you said, Hinduko, even if he has a certain personality, you cannot say Hinduko uh, has to be given importance by taking decision. I don't think he gave that importance. What he said, that people should not be misled by these Nindukas. You might call it. That's why.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
It may not become. As a matter of fact, as I told you, this mental cramps is a matter of culture, matter of our own being. You cannot explain them ultimately because certain things remain unexplained. In whichever way, Sita herself
Okay, sir. Namaskar.
Sita herself has been not properly treated.
Pramod.
So thank you very much. Sita could not be
Hello, sir.
neglected.
Rao sir. Hello.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Yes, sir.
Hello,
Yes,
Rao
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
can-
Yes, sir.
Sir, please continue. Perhaps Ranjit Ghosh sir will ask some
He's there.
question.
Ranjit,
Yes, sir. He's there. He's there. Yes, yes.
Hello,
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
I'm audible.
Sir, Professor Ghosh is there. Mr. Ghosh is there with some observations.
Sir, namaskar, sir.
Welcome,
Sir,
sir.
namaskar, Pado sir, Prafula sir, sab namaskar. So I'm just, I want to repeat what Professor Mahapatra said.
Yes.
So far as Maryada Purushottama concept is concerned, this Loko Apabad and the Agni Pariksha. So these things actually create moral problems. But one thing we have to remember that on the concept of Sita, actually, Rama was very much Prajavatsal, and therefore Prajas were more important to him as a benevolent king. And Sita also subscribed to this. And for that reason, Sita agreed to enter into the fire with the hope. And she said that I will come out a winner because the fire cannot engulf me. So it is on the consent of Sita, then Rama, this sort of Agni Parikha took place. And that is why one thing I want to repeat, that Rama and Sita, they are not to be taken as two personalities, because when we Sri Ram, we say Sri actually is the name of Sita. Siya Ram, we say Siya Ram. So in this way, we can interpret that Rama subscribed to her views, and also all the other legends or myths which are associated with their lives during the Bonaparva. We find that they are totally supporting each other's viewpoint. So Rama and Sita are not two, but they are one. This is what I want to say. How Sir will react to it. Thank you, sir.
I completely agree with you, Dr. Ghosh, Ranjit Ghosh. Completely agree with you. They stand for one and ideology, and they wanted a pure life for themselves, but at the same time, they wanted that their own people, the people to whom they belonged, should not be misled by their ideology. So they wanted to have the maximum sacrifice for the people. And they did this maximum sacrifice. And I'm not sure if they themselves would have again accepted another Agni Pariksha, the Agni Pariksha that was done in Ravana's Sri Lanka. Again, that Agni Pariksha was not accepted. Later on, I am not sure about this because I don't think that was important. But all these things speak of human frailty, and Rama himself was a superhuman being, and at the same time, he was aware of human frailties. His human frailties were there. In case of Rama and Sita. And these problems will remain because when we are talking of an ideal person, these problems will remain, the mental cramps will remain, and yet Rama and Krishna, Rama and Sita will be our model. Nobody can become another Rama, nobody can become another Sita. That's why we take them as models.
Thank you,
And
sir. Thank you.
that's all I think. Nobody can be another Sita or another Rama. They are models, that's why. Models of not only Hinduism, models of our culture, models of humanity as such. And that is where there is a mixture of both human and superhumanity. Because they were living beings, no? They were not mere characters of a story. They were living beings. Thank you for all these questions.
Hello.
And answer should not be expected, which would satisfy you, me, or anybody else. That will continue forever.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you very much.
Thank you very much for your response, sir. Oh, a last puja. It's a last puja by Rabadi Misra, who is a concern whether the act of Rama towards Sita be taken as a case of gender discrimination.
Again. Whether
Whether the act of Rama towards Sita be taken as a case of gender discrimination.
gender discrimination. That I cannot, I'm unable to give a decision because that gender discrimination was not there in case of Ramo. In any case, his love for Jatayu, his love for Sabari, they never speak of any gender discrimination in, in case of Ramo. Gender discrimination might not be the case. And he wanted to put a model of conduct for his own children also, of Rama and Kusum. That's why he accepted them as singers. But when it came to another Agni Pariksha. You would not have allowed, because we do not know what were the conditions under which Agni Pariksha was done in Ravana's place, in Lanka, Sri Lanka. The place is different. And that same place is no longer there. You had played with me a particular game, maybe in some country. You come and play the same game with me in another country. I may not win. So there is always a possibility of defeat. So let's say the Ramo case is also like that. You cannot, it is a human case, man. It's a case of human. Even if the spiritual has come, the highest spiritual being, the Lord Himself, when He comes, in case of Vishnu Sahasranam, you will find so many namas, of which one is Gupta's Chakra, one is also there. My friend, Professor K.P. Mishra, is no longer there. He used to give an emphasis on Gupta's Chakra. His Chakra, that Lord's Chakra, is Gupta. Do you mean he might have taken it, Professor K.P. Mishra might have taken it in an easy way, but whatever may be the reason, he said that Lord is Gupta Chakra. The Chakra is never shown. Does it mean that Lord is only a sort of diplomat, keeping his Chakra inside himself? So diplomat is another term. Diplomacy is another term. Gupta's Chakra Gadadhara is another. So we cannot weigh or judge things and the terms in terms of another term. Very difficult. Similarly, when you talk of gender discrimination, when you talk of this fire ordeal, what was the fire ordeal really? What was the meaning of fire ordeal? That also is not very clear. And then the Agni Deva brings back Sita. This is a very important thing which I cannot explain in ordinary terms.
Sir, shall I add something?
Yes,
Sir,
please, sir.
sir, बोधवे सत्य जुग पर जेतेबेले त्रेता जुग आसिला, when त्रेता जुग came, Satya and Treta Yugas, we don't find this gender inequality. Gender was not there, but it started with Dwapara, and from Dwapara it passed on to Kali, and that is why I think in the Ramayana period there was no such discrimination against the women. And how would you react to this?
Thank you very much. Naturally, everything changes, so that gender discrimination might not have been there in those days. In any case, that was not in Dwapara, you know. In case of Krishna, we don't find. So gradually, it came in Kali, as you said. A very difficult case because we are talking of persons who are living persons. And we have taken them as Maryada Purushottama. At the same time, they are living persons. So, and they are answerable to their own community and also to humanity, and beyond that, this word which is written in Valmiki Ramayana, how can you explain this? Charitrena Kodrukta. What is that Charitra which Valmiki is speaking? Very difficult to decipher.
Hello.
Priyadarshana. What is written? Someva Priyadarshana. Looks like beautiful as moon. Nowadays, these beauty queens are compared to moon. So Someva Priyadarshan is beautiful as moon. He was beautiful as moon. That is understandable. But when you talk of this higher audience, very difficult to understand. And again, Agni Deva coming and presenting Sita in her own form, back to down. This you cannot explain. So all these, some mythologies are also mixed up. You cannot explain them. But you have to take a overall view. When an overall view is taken, we find here is a maximum word. You please take note of maximum emphasis, maximum effort on the part of a man and a woman. Man is Rama, woman is Sita. Maximum. They are not ordinary men and ordinary women. They were kings and queens. Maximum effort on their part to adhere to an ideology which is usually not acceptable, adhered to by people who are what? Let me put the injector, who are bewildered or intoxicated by power. That intoxication by power was not there. That there in body. That was there in Ravana. Take the case. And that intoxication would have entered into the head of Sugriva if there was no Lakshmana at the same time. Certainly it would have entered. They were all ready for that. Immediately as soon as Bali goes, Sugriva takes the reign of power. Immediately he is lost. He forgets his promise to Rama. And then he apologizes. That's another thing. So that which is not in case of ordinary human beings, that's why they are extraordinary. They are extraordinary. We pray to them and we pray for their blessings also. Not only for their blessings, also the blessings of those of such of satsang. Because of satsang, we are able to talk about Rama and Sita today. So, thank you, Professor Pramod Das and Professor Rao and Professor Prafulla Mahapatra, Professor Ranjit Ghosh, and okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank
All
you
of
very
us.
much for your nice response.
All of you, I am very happy. Certain important points were raised by all of you, and I'm sorry I cannot give any satisfactory reply to all the questions because there is nothing which is satisfactory word with, with a big S that which will satisfy everybody. There is nothing in the world which satisfies everybody.
Okay, sir.
So
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. The standpoint that you have taken is really the real standpoint. So we are satisfied with the response that you have given. Those things which cannot be explained, and you are very much true to that spirit. That's how we are thankful to you. So at this age, you have spoken for not less than say 2 hours. We started at 4:05. It is 6:10. You have listened to the comments and observations made by others, and you have so beautifully responded to the questions with originality to the text and in proper coordination to the questions asked and what you have said and what is original to the text. You have you have really created a sort of thought in all of us to think on these issues in greater details. You have, as you have rightly pointed out, these questions cannot be answered in a final sort of things. They cannot be final answers to all this. These questions are debatable. So it's the right position, as I see, it's the right position because these are the questions which cannot be answered with a definite yes or no. So a real standpoint that you have taken and is highly appreciable. So thank you very much, sir, for delivering such a good lecture at this age.
Hello.
At the age of 85 plus, it's really a great effort on your part. Philosophically, we're very much thankful for your effort, sir. I also
Let us
thank Pramod.
kindly let us thank Professor Bosandas and also my granddaughter and his father, her father, who has also helped us in arranging this. Mr. Uncle Nayak, they have been very kind enough to arrange this meeting in their home. It is now their home, not my home. I
Hello.
am I am an intruder, so to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So it's really, I'm really
Hello.
philosophy.
Hello,
I am
sir.
an
Sir.
intruder. I am an
Yes.
intruder. After some time, he will consider me as an intruder to the universe.
Hello, sir.
Thank,
Rao,
thank you very much.
Rao, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes.
I shall speak.
Yes.
Thank you. This is satsang. Bidu satasanga vivekana hui. You see, I am ending with Goswami Tulsidas. Bidu satasanga vivekana hui. Rama kripa vinu sulabhanas. Vinu satasanga. This is satsang. Actually, this is the sangha, the company of philosophers, intellectuals, and also
Hello.
inquirers. Thank you.
Yes, Pramod sir, you have some observation to make.
No. I shall speak only two sentences in response to the question of Sabani Mr. Madam and Professor. Sir spoke very beautifully that when we are discussing about two domains, for example, the empirical domain and the other is transcendental domain, there what happens, we cannot explain one term belonging to one domain by
Yes,
by another term belonging to the another domain. So here language fails.
correct.
Number one. Number two, the same thing happens to ethical paradigms. The ethical paradigm that is understood in human society, human administration, that is not same in the cosmic administration. Cosmic, yes, sir. I am repeating, sir.
Sir, we should not be so long, sir, because Professor Nayak is for long. We should look for his age also. So,
Okay. So these only 2 points. The number one, the one terms are not interchangeable, and ethical paradigms are also not cannot be taken in that way. When we are discussing about human ethics, that cannot be taken in that way when we are discussing about the cosmic issues. Thank you.
okay, sir. Thank you for the observations. I'm not calling Professor Nayak again because he says also he was with us for about two and 2 hours 15 minutes. So thank you, Professor Nayak, for
Thank
your
you.
effort, for your contribution to to the academic pursuit and your contribution to the philosophy family. The members of philosophy family are really thankful to you for your effort, and we really love your lecture. We really love your spirit, and you are a great source of inspiration for all of us. I also thank Professor Pramod Das in spite of the network issue, he could summarize talk of Professor Nayak in few sentences. Great effort by Professor Daphne. I also thank Mr. Ranjit Koskar, Professor Prafula Mahapatra sir, and all those question raisers for making this webinar a complete one. It's really a great webinar. It has put forth it has brought in a number of issues for discussion, and in a true spirit, Professor Nayak has responded to these issues and was true to the spirit of the questions, and he was very much right in saying that such questions cannot be answered in a strict yes or no. There cannot be no finality to this question because there cannot be a final answers to this question. So these questions are debatable, and hence Professor Naik was right in saying that there cannot be a finality to such questions. Thank you, sir, for your effort, and also thank all the participants for being connected in this virtual mode. So it was a great evening for all of us. I thank all the participants and thank everybody here, and also thank Professor Basant Kumar Das for providing the virtual connectivity, for providing the technical support to Professor Naik. We also thank the family members of Professor Naik because without the support, even Professor Naik cannot have not taken this webinar, and also thank the granddaughter of
Correct.
Professor Naik,
Correct.
Ananya
Thank you.
Naik, for the
Thank
support,
you,
for
sir.
providing the technical support to Professor Naik. So it
Thank
was
you,
a
sir.
great evening. Thanks everybody. Namaskar, sir. Namaskar, everybody. It's once again I thank everybody for making this webinar a successful one. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for the satsang. I call satsang. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot. Now the meeting is closed. Now the meeting.